Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geographies of Basel Landschaft and Basel-Stadt in Switzerland. See the SW down here in Switzerland. Now you might be wondering, why does it just say Basel in the title? Why didn't you put that whole thing? Well, first of all, that's very long. And second of all, this is very much like another canton of Switzerland that we covered on this channel called Appenzell. I'll put the little, whoa, I'm super zoomed in, the little box up in the corner there so that you can watch that video and other videos about Switzerland. You can read about Aargau next door over here, or you can learn about Aargau as well. And just all the other videos I have about beautiful Switzerland. So it is considered half cantons, essentially. It's very much joined together, but also very much separate. All the land you see here is Basel Landschaft. Basel-Stadt is just the city of Basel. You can see up here. This map is quite chaotic because it's a lot of borders close together, and there's some exclaves mixed in there as well. So it's all quite jumbled together up here, but just know that the city of Basel up here is Basel-Stadt. The rest is Basel-Landschaft. And we'll, of course, talk about why it is the way that it is in its history. But first we need to talk about the geography, the most prominent being on the border here with the Rhine River. Basel is located in what's called the knee of the Rhine. And as you can see by this map here, it's at a very interesting junction here. You can see this up here is France, and over here is Germany. So we'll see on Google Earth the exact point where all three countries meet here in Basel. Pretty cool. I like places like that. It's very interesting. I like places where you can stand in multiple places at once. Those are special places. The Basel Canton regions are the smallest in Switzerland and also the lowest. The Jura Mountains come through. Mountains just up here. Those are the Jura Mountains. And my favorite fact about the Jura Mountains, they're spelled, of course, J-U-R-A. That's where we get the word Jurassic from the Jurassic period. It comes from the age of the rocks found in the Jura Mountains. They're first discovered in the Jura Mountains. Isn't that neat? I think it's cool. Sorry if you think it's lame. I think it's cool. Also, since these are technically two separate cantons, let's see if we can see right here. The capital of Basel Landschaft is called Liestal. At least that's how I hope we pronounce it. Liestal. They do speak German here. Switzerland has many national languages, most famous one being Romansh. But this is a German-speaking part of Switzerland, and that has to do with its history. So let's get into that. But before we talk about the German history, we're going to talk about the Celtic and Roman history. The original Celts that lived here were the Rorici, something like that. So when the Romans came here to colonize, they built a city town called Augusta Raurica. It was founded in 44 BCE. Not officially colonized until 15 BCE when they could name it after Augustus at that point. Augusta Raurica, and it was really a thriving trade center up here on the Rhine. Again, it's really hard to point right to where it is because it's so busy up here in this map. But we're along the Rhine there. Very important trade center, really linking, like creating a link in Central Europe to northern and southern in the continent. It had a population of about 20,000 at its peak. But there were those pesky Celts just outside town who did not want the Romans to be there. Um, Eventually, the Germanic Alemanni tribe would come into many different conflicts with the Romans. They originally destroyed the city in the year 260, and the Romans rebuilt it, made it even stronger. And the Alemanni attempted to invade many, many times and were eventually successful in the year 406. And the Romans retreated and left it for the Celtic people, the Alemanni people, which is the origin for the German word for Germany. Yeah, because they don't call it Germany in German. We call it that in English. But moving on, the area became part of the Holy Roman Empire in 1032, which was a Catholic kingdom, very famously. Basel was established. The city of Basel was established around that time officially. There had always been settlement there, of course, but then it became an actual factual town. And it became part of the Swabian League in 1356. We talked about the Swabian League when we covered Baden-Württemberg, which is just over here. I guess I'll link that too. Let's do it again. Up here in the corner, I'll link the Germany playlist so you can watch Baden-Württemberg. And in a couple weeks, we'll be adding Bavaria to that playlist, so stick around for that. In like about a month or so, we'll be talking about Bavaria. So the Swabian League was a confederation of cities in this southwestern corner of Germany. And Basel joined it because the pesky Habsburg family had pretty much taken control of the Holy Roman Empire and were taking over the city and many other places in Europe at this time. And the people of Basel did not want their influence involved in their day-to-day lives, so they joined the Swabian League as protection to avoid the Habsburgs. But that would prove to be a problem in 1499 when the Swabian War broke out. The Swabian War occurred because the pesky Swiss down here were forming the Swiss Confederation, realizing that they didn't have to answer to anybody if they all just joined together and fought hard enough. And slowly but surely Switzerland was taking form, and they were slowly creeping up into this area. The Swabian League did not want that, obviously, so there was a large conflict that the Swiss Confederation won out. Because even though Switzerland's very famous today for being neutral, at this time and for a couple hundred years, they were known as some of the fiercest fighters in Europe. They were pretty intense. So, due to that, Basel joined the Swiss Confederation in the year 1501, became one of the many cantons of what we now call Switzerland. And in 1529, Basel was officially declared a Protestant city, no longer being influenced by the Catholic Church. And this heralded a very prosperous time for the city involving culture, sort of like the Renaissance time, right at the dawn of the 1500s. The university was built a bit earlier at this time, but it was the first university built in Switzerland. It was a time for education, the arts, humanities, and a concept called humanism, which, according to Google, I'm going to read this quote that I wrote from Google. Humanism is non-religious philosophy that emphasizes the potential of human beings and their ability to shape their own lives. So, excellence without involving religion in any way, which is probably was a very fascinating concept at the time, because that had never really been considered before in Europe before then, at least in modern times, right? Also, a bit after that was the founding of the Kunstmuseum in 1671, and this is a very important museum. It was the world's first art gallery that was open to the public. The city of Basel had purchased, who was it? It's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot to write down the name of Holbein. Hans Holbein. They had bought a bunch of artworks by Hans Holbein. It came off my tongue, yes, just in time. And the city decided, instead of just putting it in a mansion and letting only the rich people see, we're going to let everybody be able to see this art collection. And it's only grown and grown and grown since then. And later in history, that would come back around when the art gallery was going broke and they were going to sell some of their Picassos. This is, of course, in modern times. They were going to sell their Picassos, and the city banded together and raised enough money to purchase the Picassos. And Pablo was so enchanted by this, he donated more paintings to the Kunstmuseum. So we'll, of course, look at it on Google Earth and see all of the magnificent works of art there. But what you need to know is that it was the first art museum, art gallery, open to the public. So essentially one of the first museums as we know it today. Bonus fact, here in Listal, one of the points of pride for the city was that Napoleon came by once upon a time. The city supported his efforts, like post-French Revolution, pre-Empire, and he came by in 1797 to show his support. I read that in like every fact I read about the city, so I thought I'd mention it. But let's talk about why these are two half cantons divided. It was in the early 1800s, 1820s, 1830s, that all of the country folk here outside the city felt they were being very underrepresented in their canton. Of course, there's representatives sent to, like, the headquarters of the Confederacy to to discuss issues and policies and laws and things. And the people here were like, our voices are not being heard. They're only catering to people here in the city. So we want to be separate from the city. They tried to, like, manually form their own canton, and Basel said, you can't do that. They sent in soldiers. It started to turn very violent. It was starting to turn into a little civil war. So before it exploded and became a full-fledged conflict, they agreed in 1833 to just divide the canton into Basel Landschaft and Baselstadt. So Basel was now on its own, but it could very much handle that economically. After industrialization became a thing in the early 20th century, Basel Landschaft was like, hey, you know what? No hard feelings. Like, we realized what we did back then because we were country people. Now we're not so much country people. We're industrialized people, and you're an industrialized city, and maybe it would benefit us to join together. And there were talks for a while, I think, starting in the late 1800s. But it wouldn't be until 1969 when there was a full referendum here whether or not to rejoin the two cantons, and it failed. There was another one in 2014, and it also failed. So there are still two cantons here for Basel. And that's essentially where we are today. I did skip over various facts of its history. This was just, in a nutshell, what you need to know. So not the entire detailed history of Basel and Basel Landschaft, but what you need to know. If anyone else thinks, hey, you probably should have mentioned this and this, you can just throw it down in the comments, and I'll pin it if it's really informative. And I think, you know what, yeah, that should have been in the video. I'll pin it in the top comment. So I think at this point we should head over to the tablet so we can look at some Roman ruins, so we can look at a beautiful museum, and some really cute, charming cities. Oh, and the tri-point between the three countries. We have to check those out. So let's head over to the tablet and see what we can find in Basel Landschaft and Baselstadt. So to start off, I had just highlighted Basel Landschaft for you, so you could kind of see the borders a little bit better. It's still pretty hectic. You can see the mountains coming through there, kind of complicating things. And then, of course, we have the city of Basel up there, making up this little corner here, which is Baselstadt. So let me adjust my mic a little bit more. It's all very complicated in my setup right now. But let me zoom out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. It's okay if you don't know where Switzerland is. We're going to learn it right now. So here you can see Switzerland. You can see the more famous Alps down here. The year is coming up there. But there's France, there's Germany. Austria is just over there. Italy is just down there. So in Switzerland, they speak French, Italian, German, and Romansh. So here, though, they speak German, Alemannic German. Why don't we start over here? Oop, there we go. Not me just like completely forgetting what I was about to do. There we go. List all, that's what I was about to do. I just wanted, not that. Oh no, come on. Just this. I want to show you this slideshow. Okay, we're back. Let's look at this slideshow so you can see just how quaint this little town is. It's very charming, isn't it? Love all the little buildings here. They're just so cute. And here it is in Christmas time. This is a festival, I believe, during Lent or just before Lent, on like Ash Wednesday times, where they have this big bonfire march. Pretty cool. But it's very, very Swiss. I don't know how else to describe, because you can see the bonfires there. I don't know how else to describe this town other than it looks like it belongs in Switzerland, which it does. So that's perfect. Like if I saw this picture and you said, guess where this is, I would definitely say Switzerland. It just looks like Switzerland to me. Let's check out some Roman ruins. Of course, now my tablet's not. Every time. I'm not annoyed. I'm a little annoyed. I'm just, why does this happen to me every single time? Augusta Rorica. If you don't know, like, I rehearse all my videos. I practice them. I practice the Google Earth section and it works perfectly. But once I hit record, Google Earth just stops loading every time. So here's Augusta Rorica, and you can see this huge amphitheater here. Isn't it amazing? And the little ruins left of it. Pretty spectacular. I mean, it's not as grand as some other places, Roman ruins, but what I think is neat is that people just live right here. Like, people's backyards are in these Roman, like, that's someone's house right here. People live here, and just right here is a bunch of Roman, looks like walls right here, right? Isn't that something? Can you imagine? Like, I always say, everywhere is someone's every day. Every place in the world is just ho-hum boring to someone somewhere. So if the place you live you think is ho-hum boring, to someone else it could be fascinating, right? It could be so interesting, so cool, so unique. But to you, since you see it every day, I was talking to the channel members about this. Like when I lived in San Francisco, to me the Golden Gate Bridge was just like really ugly compared to the Bay Bridge, and really unremarkable. But to many people around the world, that's like an icon, that's amazing. So this place here is just boring humdrum. Apparently, I was reading that, you know how when you're in school and you always have like a school trip somewhere to somewhere historical? Apparently this, like for most northern Swiss kids, this is their school trip when they're like 10 or something, and they all hop on the bus and go somewhere historical. For me, well, let's be real. For my school, it was not John Muir. I did go to John Muir's house. John Sutter's fort, where gold was discovered in the California Gold Rush. But my teacher decided we didn't need to go there, and we were the only 4th grade class that stayed behind, and we did crafts and stuff. But I didn't get to go to the trip. But we did go to John Muir's house, and I'd much rather learn about John Muir than John Sutter. But set that aside. Let's look at Rorica. Yeah, what's left of it? Not a lot is left of this Roman city. Like I said, it was destroyed multiple times. But what we do have is pretty amazing, I think. There's also a huge warehouse that stores a lot of artifacts found here, Indiana Jones style. But it's not a very interesting slideshow. I thought that one was a lot better. I hope you enjoyed. I hope my ramblings didn't distract you from it. Why don't we head over to Basel? Make sure I don't. The one hard thing about doing Google Earth here is that I kept winding up in France or Germany. We don't want to do that today, at least. Any other time, that would be a very happy accident, but not today. So right here's the real heart of the city. This is the Munster right here. And actually, this slideshow isn't as good as another slideshow. I think it's this one. Yeah, and the Munsterplatz, where you can really see all of the super quaint, isn't that so charming? All the beautiful buildings here in this corner of the town. Mural there. Beautiful archways. I don't think this was the slideshow I meant to show you, but it's really pretty. Look at all of that. All these little windows in a row like little soldiers. Fine, let's just look at this slideshow then, because I can't remember the good one. So this is the original cathedral built in, I didn't look, oh, there it is. 1019, is that what that says? I thought it was 11 something. Maybe it was completed in 11 something. But very iconic, very classic style cathedral here. Beautiful courtyard as well. Very medieval, isn't it? I think this was rebuilt, I think, in the 1600s. But yeah, very, very classic style church. So like, if you come to Basel, this is like, to do tourist stuff, you like have to come here. But over here is where I would go first. The Kunstmuseum, the Fine Arts Museum. Let's see who we can find here in this gorgeous building. I think that's neat. How it's all kind of blocky. Let's see. Oh, there's Vincent. Really incredible self-portrait there by Vincent van Gogh, as we say in America. We call him Van Gogh for whatever reason. Let's see. There's also a modern wing, not just classic stuff. There's Pablo right here. It's a neat museum. Oh, wow. This has to be Picasso. It's got to be. Oh, it's a big monkey. That's Rodin for sure. I think, I'm not close up to the tablet, but I think you can see Rodin's name carved in the bottom, but you can just tell by looking at it. That's Rodin. That's definitely Salvador Dali. Obviously, that's so iconic of his style. And this is really remarkable. I don't know who painted this, but I mean, I assume that's supposed to be Jesus in a tomb, but what's remarkable is how the frame works with it, making it look like a casket. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be Jesus, but it certainly looks like Jesus. Oh, here's another classic, Picasso in his Cubism stage. I think this art is so incredible because it really looks like you just crumpled up a piece of paper and just drew all over the crinkles, but it's not crinkled at all. It's got texture even though it doesn't really have any. This is kind of scary. I don't think I like that statue. All right. I promised you a tri-point border. Let's see. You can see some of the borders over there. You just kind of have to follow the river until we see it. I think I've gone too far north. Unless this is it. So you can see that's Alsace right there in France. So no, that's not it. That is entirely in France. Here it is. This point right here is the unofficial official spot where all three countries meet: Switzerland, Germany, and France. They've got this big pointy statue here to commemorate it, and you can, I guess, stand at your best attempt to stand in all three countries at once, but I'm sure it's doable. And it's on this island where you can book cruises and things. All the flags here. You can see the EU flag. I think that's the flag of Basel. It's the old flag of Basel. Switzerland. Looks like France, Germany. I guess that's another EU flag. Can't really tell how it's flapping there. But yeah, you can hop on a boat here to explore the beautiful Rhine River. And also stand in all three countries at once. Pretty neat. Alright. I think that was everything that I really wanted to show you guys. There's so much more to see. This city is full of museums. There's the old university there that I mentioned. There's so much to look at, so I highly encourage you to hop on Google Earth in your spare time and check out Basel for yourself. It is a really remarkable city. You know what we should do to close the video? Let's just look at the Basel slideshow. There might be some repeats in the pictures here, but let's end the video just looking at the typical slideshow here. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Like I said, Bavaria is coming soon, which is very exciting because my ancestors are from Bavaria. But next time, we're going to be heading over to Russia. And it's a corner of Russia that I've never heard of before this, of course. And what's really interesting about it is that not everyone there, but some people there practice a very old pagan religion that I've never heard of. And I grew up in a Wiccan home. I grew up learning all about pagan religions. I've never heard of this religion. And it's an officially recognized religion of Russia, which in Orthodox Russia is quite impressive, isn't it? So you're going to want to hear about it. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. It's so charming, the roofs here. I love them. If you learned something interesting in today's video, give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you learned down in the comments. Oh, that's really pretty. I like this picture. You can see the beautiful roof tiles there as well. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Look at the beautiful Rhine. Good night. I'm at a weird angle. Let me get over here. Good night. Good night. Good night.